He wants to hear the story about the guy that I was seeing who was also seeing his sister. I meet this guy on Hinge, okay? He's gorgeous. Like, he looks just like Leo from Tell Me Lies, okay? Gorgeous. So he drives 2 hours to take me on our first date. And we had been talking for a couple weeks at this point. And this is right before or right after my divorce. So, like, I would never do this now. I would never do this now. But I was like, okay, like, why don't you just, like, stay the night after our date? Girl, be so real. Do you think that's a good idea? No. I'll call him Tony. That's not his name. I opened my door, I said, Tony. And he looks up and starts skipping stairs to get to me. And he gives me a big hug and he has flowers. He was like, I'm so excited to, like, actually see you. And I was like, me too. I was like, I'm finishing getting ready, like, come in, whatever. He takes me to dinner. He has a really nice car. He takes me to a very nice restaurant. I'm like, okay, this guy has his life together. He had gotten out of the military. I won't say which branch. And he was getting his master's. So I was like, his life is, like, put together. I'm obsessed. And the conversation is so good. And he's so interested about my interests, which is, like, not typical. A lot of people just don't want to talk about neuroplasticity and how cool it is. That's, like, one of my biggest interests. He was clocked in. He was ready, okay? He was applying for the job to be my boyfriend. And he's telling me about him, and he grew up on a farm in a southern state, and he was homeschooled. But, like, not the type of homeschool where you're with other kids, the type of homeschool that it's just you and your siblings, okay? And he has a sister who is, like, a year younger, 2 years younger. Anyways, so we finished the first date. He stays over. He's already texted me about our next date. He's excited. He's, like, really into it. So he says, why don't you come by me, which is by, like, Eastern, like, ECU. I think that was the school he was getting his master's at. And he was like, we'll do, like, some fun mini golf. I'll take you to this hot dog place because he knows I love hot dogs. I love hot dogs. Leading up to the date, I was feeling, like, sketched out for whatever reason. For really no reason. He was great. But my, like, intuition was like, this is not good. But my heart was like, what are you talking about? Like, shut up. Ugh. Having fun, living life, he's hot. At the same time, there was a documentary about that guy. I can't think of his name right now, but he was in Call Me By Your Name. And there was a documentary about, like, all the girls that he had, like, essayed. And, like, for whatever reason, I was getting the same vibe. And I was also getting the same vibe of, like, maybe he was going to eat me at some point. And I can't explain why. He never, like, gave me any reason to believe that he was going to eat me. But I started to really, really hone in on the fact that he was going to, like, hurt me somehow. So we go on the date. Date is so fun. But then at dinner, after mini golf, he was like, you know what? You look just like my cousin. And I was like, oh my gosh. Huh. And he was like, I mean, she's hot. I'm like, oh. Okay. He showed me a picture. I look identical. And then he's telling me how hot I am the rest of the night. And I'm thinking, oh, this guy wants to fuck his cousin. This is what this is. He wants to fuck his cousin. So we go back. He gets a hotel because he has a roommate because he's in school. He brings out things that I don't want. Wait, who are you doing that with? Because it ain't me. Like, dangerous things. Like, for the bedroom? I was like, this isn't, like, no. We started having, like, pillow talk, okay? We're getting really deep into conversation. And he reveals to me that when he was in, like, 3rd grade, him and his sister got really curious. I'm gonna throw up. Girl. And I was like, huh? What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? And he, like, really gets into detail of what they did from 3rd grade to a couple of years ago. They were having a full-blown relationship. in that in just that one way. Okay? I really hope y'all are picking up what I'm putting down, okay? Him and his sister had relations for years. And I'm fawning at this point because I'm like, I'm actually in danger. This is not good. I've been drinking. I can't drive home 2 hours. And so I become a therapist. I'm like, oh my gosh, like that probably really affected you, you know, throughout your whole childhood. Like, do you think that's like brought into your adult like your life? Like, I'm trying to be a therapist, you know, and try to make him feel comfortable to just like keep talking. But I'm like, I really don't want to hear it, but what am I going to do? I got nowhere to go. So he tells me everything until we fall asleep. I'm driving home. He's calling me and he's just like, I had so much fun. Like, I love getting to know you. And I'm like, oh, yeah, me too. So much fun. So much fun. But I was like, you know what? It feels like you don't really have a relationship with God. So like, I need that. And he was like, well, I also need someone that I said, yeah. And he's like, yeah, you just didn't seem into like all the things that I was into. Yeah, because I'm not. Because most people aren't. I'm not going to yuck anyone's yum, but like yuck. Yucky. Yeah. No. Just because they look like Leo does not mean you should date them. No. Ugh. I'm so, like, honestly, this is embarrassing for me to tell. I've waited 2 years to tell this story. Because every time I try to, I'm like, oh, this looks bad for me. Like, ugh.
Okay, I'm best friends with this girl in college, and I mean best friends. Like, we do everything together, we worked together for years, we lived together for a little bit, we went on trips together. Like, she was fully integrated into my life. She knew all my friends. Like, we were as best friends could be. Okay, so she starts dating this guy. Moves in with him. I know him. He doesn't hang out with us a ton, but like, we know each other. If I saw him at the store, we'd stop and chat, whatever. They start dating, they live together, great. She starts a new job, and almost immediately she starts talking to me about this guy at her new job. And she's like, oh, I really want to set you up with him. Like, he's so cute, he's so funny. And I was like, okay, whatever, sure. Shortly after that, it suddenly is like, oh, actually he likes me, and now it's awkward because like I have a boyfriend, whatever. And so I'm like, okay, whatever, don't care. But she starts talking about him, and it's like, oh, things are really awkward, now he likes me. And I'm like, okay. So one night she goes out with her coworkers after work, and her boyfriend, who she lives with, calls me. And it's like 2 a.m. He calls me and he's like, hey, have you heard from her? She went out with her coworkers. I haven't heard from her. Her phone's turned off. Like, I'm kind of worried about her. And I was like, no, I haven't heard from her. I'll try calling her. I try calling her, texting her, checking her location. Like, neither of us can get a hold of her the whole night. Really weird. The next morning, she gets her phone and she texts me. And I was like, what the hell happened? Are you okay? And she makes up this big elaborate story. Her and her coworkers go out after work, and girls gets really, really drunk and like blacks out. And so my friend had to take her home and like stay with her all night because she was worried about her. And her phone had like been left in someone's car and they left. And so she couldn't get it back. Like, this big story. But mind you, she's my best friend. So I'm like, that's crazy. I believe every word she says. Like, she's my best friend. Of course I believe anything she tells me. So I'm like, oh wow, that's crazy. Okay, whatever, fast forward. A few months later, she's going on a trip to Europe with her boyfriend and her boyfriend's family. So the Europe trip is she's joining her boyfriend and his family to go on this trip. She texts me one day. She's like, hey, can I borrow some clothes for this trip? And I'm like, yeah, go get them, whatever. I'm not home, but you know where my spare key is, whatever. So she goes over to get the clothes from my apartment, and my roommate was home at the time. Okay, so later I get home and my roommate to me is like, that's so fun that she's going to Europe. Why isn't her boyfriend going with her? And I was like, oh, he is. They're going with his family. And my roommate's like, no, her boyfriend was with her, and she told me that she's going with her family because her sister's getting married. And I was like, she doesn't even have a sister. Like, what are you talking about? I was like, she's not. No, I was like, I think maybe you misunderstood her. Like, the trip is for his family. And my roommate was like, no, her boyfriend was here and she said that it was her family. And I was like, that's so bizarre. And I'm like, what do you mean her boyfriend was here? What did he look like? My roommate starts describing this man that is definitely not her boyfriend. She's describing the guy from her work. And I'm like, oh, interesting. So I text my best friend and I'm like, hey, did you tell my roommate that you were going to Europe with your family? Like, why'd you lie? And she was like, oh, yeah, it was really awkward. Like, she comes up with this story about how she had told her work, in order to get time off, she told her work that she was going to Europe for her sister's wedding. She's like, he came with me on our lunch break to get the clothes, and so I had to lie because he was there. And I was like, okay, that makes sense, I guess, whatever. So they go to Europe. Her and her boyfriend go to Europe. Okay. At the time, I don't have Facebook, but I'm just a girl. I like to stalk a little bit. So I use my best friend's Facebook to stalk people. She knows that I do this. She gave me her password. Like, it's no secret. It's nothing weird. She knows that I go on her Facebook to stalk people. So one day when she's in Europe, I log on to Facebook, do my little stalking. All of a sudden, a chat pops up. And it's like a live chat, right? So the chat pops up, and before I really realize what's going on, I'm seeing the guy from her work message her. And then in live time, I'm seeing her message back because I'm on her on her Facebook. So I'm seeing the chats as they're coming in. Like, they're live chatting. I miss you. I can't wait to see you. Oh, hold on. My dad's calling for me. Like, she's saying, oh, my dad's calling for me. She's saying, oh, my sister needs to do my hair. Like, she's fully fabricating this story about her being in Europe, and I'm reading her cheating on her boyfriend with this man. And I'm like, this is so awkward. Like, this is so awkward. She's fully lying, like, and I'm watching it happen. And I'm like, okay, great. Now I have to talk to her about it. Like, that's so weird. I can't just pretend like I didn't see this. Okay. So she gets back from Europe, and I'm like, this is so awkward, but I have to bring it up. She's my best friend. I can't avoid her. So we have tickets to go see a concert. And I'm like, okay, it's fine. Like, we're going to go to dinner before, and I'm just going to bring it up. I'm going to just tell her what I saw, see if she wants to talk about it. So we go to dinner, and I'm like, hey, this is really awkward, but, like, I was on your Facebook. I saw these chats. Like, are you good? Like, what's going on? Because also in my mind, I'm like, she must be going through something. Like, this probably sucks for her. Like, it's probably stressful to cheat. I don't know. Anyway, I'm trying to be, like, a good, understanding friend. So I bring it up to her at dinner. And I'm like, hey, I saw these chats. She tells me that she comes up with this story about how her and her boyfriend actually broke up. They actually broke up on the trip, but they had to, like, fake it and keep it together for his family because they didn't want to make things awkward. And so when she was messaging him, that the messages that I was reading, she was single. And I was kind of like, okay. And, like, to be honest, there were some things in the messages that maybe she forgot about, or maybe she didn't know how much I read, but she clearly was lying to my face. Like, I told her a little bit of what I knew, and she just lied. She didn't tell me the full truth, but I knew more because I had read the messages, whatever. So I was kind of just sitting there being like, this is so awkward, because how do you sit there and tell someone, like, you're still lying? Like, I know you're lying to my face. But I just was kind of like, okay, whatever, this is so weird. So I just kind of let it go. I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Like, sorry you're going through this, whatever. After she knows that I know that she had been doing these things kind of get weird. So she tells me she's broken up with her boyfriend, but they live together. So I'm like, okay, are you going to move out? And she says, no, our lease isn't up for however many months, so we're just going to stay in the lease together. And I was kind of thinking, that's so odd. Like, I'm sorry, there's no way that a guy, like, he could have paid the lease himself. There's no way that he's asking for her half of the rent when they're broken up. But whatever. I just was kind of like, that's weird, whatever. But according to her, they are broken up. Fully broken up. She starts bringing this new guy around. Like, when we do stuff with not even our friends, because red flags, she didn't really have any other friends. So when it was my group of friends. And so when she would come, she would bring this new guy, like, fully broken up with her ex. Starts bringing this new guy around. As far as anyone's concerned, that's her boyfriend. I start getting a little suspicious because things are not adding up. Things are kind of weird. My spidey senses are peaked at this point. So I look at her ex-boyfriend's Instagram, Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day rolls around. One of my friends runs into her and her ex-boyfriend at Target. And my friend, who had kind of known all this was going on, texted me about it and was like, I ran into her and her ex at Target. She was really dodgy. Like, it was really weird. Aren't they broken up? And I said, yeah, but they still live together. Things were weird. And this was right around Valentine's Day. So I go to her ex-boyfriend's Instagram to do a little bit of recon. Her ex-boyfriend posted a picture on Valentine's Day of the present that she had gotten him. And I thought to myself, that's weird. If you're broken up, regardless if you're living together, if you're broken up, why are you buying that man a Valentine's Day present? And even more, why is he posting about it? Even if it was just like a nice, friendly, we still live together, let's still be cordial, he's not going to post about it. He posts about this Valentine's Day present that she bought him, tags her in it. I go to her Instagram, no tag. She had deleted the tag from her tagged photo. So I'm like, you are lying. You're not broken up with him. I know it. So at this point, things are really weird. Things are really awkward. And at the point where I can't fake it anymore. So I'm just kind of avoiding her because I just am uncomfortable. I know I have to bring it up to her, but like, oh, it's just so awkward to tell someone, your best friend, you're lying to my face and I know you are. So she sends me an email one day. Okay, so she sends me an email. I just found it, so I'm just going to read parts of it. Also, a little bit of context to this email is that she and I had gone on a trip to Southeast Asia. We were there for 3 weeks right after we graduated college. And on that trip, we met these 2 boys that were from the UK, and we spent like several days with them in Cambodia traveling around with them. So we became friends with them. I was single at the time, so one of them, he and I spent some time together. And then her and his friend, like by default, were kind of like also spending time together. I was feeling bad this whole time because I kept feeling like I was ditching her with him because she had a boyfriend. But we would like, the 4 of us would like go to dinner, go get meals, whatever. And she and the friend were like more flirty and touchy and cuddly than me and this guy. And I was single and she had a boyfriend. And I remember just kind of being like, this is so awkward, but okay, whatever, you do you. And she was just like, oh, it's just fun, whatever. The guy that I had been talking to, he and I like stayed friends after the fact. We went our separate ways after a few days, but we kept messaging and stuff. He kept telling me, oh yeah, they're hooking up. When we were in Cambodia together, he kept saying, oh yeah, like those 2 are hooking up. And I was defending her too. I was like dying on this hill. I was like, they are not hooking up. She has a boyfriend. And this guy is telling me, you're insane, they're hooking up. And I'm like, no, she just fell asleep in his hotel room. Nothing happened. No, we just lost them at the temples all day long. That was my fault. Like, I ditched her. I felt bad. No, they had made their way back to the hotel. Like, I was defending her to my death. This guy is like, they're hooking up, you're crazy. And I'm like, no, she has a boyfriend. She would not do that. Come to find out, I was wrong, whatever. So we come home from that trip. I am still messaging this guy that we had met, and he starts giving me information about our 2 friends, my friend who has a boyfriend and his friend, that leads me to believe him. That I'm kind of at the point where I'm like, damn, he actually is telling me the truth. She's lying to me. So I have this in the back of my mind that she fully lied to my face about hooking up with this guy, but I kind of just, it's not my business. Like, I get it. She's probably embarrassed. She doesn't want to talk about it. So I don't really bring it up to her. But it is in the back of my mind. So then when this whole thing with this other guy happens at her work, I kind of am already like, damn, she kind of just lies to me though. Like, maybe now I don't really believe her. So it had been a few weeks. I had been kind of distant from her because I was working up the courage and the nerve to say something, but I don't know how. So she sends me this email, and it's just a really nice email, basically saying how good of a friend I am, how much she appreciates me and loves me, whatever. So I read that email and I'm like, okay, this is my opportunity. Like, I have to bring it up now. I email her back. It's really long, so I'm not going to read all of it. But basically what I say is, I said, listen, I know I've been distant. I am having a lot of doubts and questions lately, and I'm wondering if I'm getting the full truth about some things. It makes it really hard for me to feel open and free to talk to you as much as I'd like to. Like, I'm clearly being distant, clearly being weird, and I'm trying to offer her some context. I feel like there's some facts about your boyfriend and the new guy you work with situation that I don't know. I said it's completely fair and your prerogative to not share everything with me, but it does make me standoffish when I feel like I'm being lied to. Like, it's not my business. If you don't want to tell me that you're cheating on your boyfriend because you're embarrassed, I get it, but you can't be confused then if I'm taking some space, because how can you have a relationship with someone that's lying to your face? Whatever. So I'm kind of like, it's okay if you don't want to tell me, but this is why I'm being distant, because I kind of feel like you're lying to me. Me gaslighting myself. I said, honestly, I'm not sure why I have so many doubts. I don't have anything concrete to base this on. So I'm apologizing to her because I think she's lying to me. This girl had been lying to my face and gaslighting me for probably a year at this point about all these boys, all these weird situations that I keep calling her on. She keeps lying. And I'm sitting here being like, look, I'm so sorry that I think you're a pathological liar. I just have a feeling and I feel bad about it. Anyway, so I'm like, I'm really sorry. I don't have anything to base this on. It's just a feeling that I've had for a while. Then I bring up the Cambodia guys, and I said, I think it started because so-and-so mentioned that you and the friend got closer in Cambodia than you had told me. That's when my doubts came in about things you were telling me. I really didn't expect for you to lie to me about it. I understand it's not my business. I also would hope that you know and trust me well enough to know that I have no judgments and that there is no truth that would be worse than being lied to. Like, we are best friends. So if you can't tell me these things, I don't know. That was kind of I was trying not to take it personal, but I also was trying not to attack her. So I was trying to say, like, maybe it's me. Maybe you don't feel comfortable with me. Maybe I'm not a safe person. So I was kind of trying to give her the benefit of the doubt, give her the opportunity to whatever. So then the Cambodia thing, I said, since Cambodia, my doubts have been magnified and I find myself in a constant battle, wondering if I can trust and believe the things you tell me. So when I see your ex post a picture about a Valentine's Day present that you got him, and when I don't trust that the new guy knows that you went to Europe with your ex last summer, it's really hard for me to fully believe the narrative that I've been given. I'm sorry if this isn't the response you're wanting. I've been wanting to find a way to talk to you about it. I know I've been distant. That's not fair to you. This is what's on my mind. This is why it seems like I'm being distant, not because I want to end our friendship, but because I can't fake like everything's okay. Of course, I'd love to listen and support you if there's anything you want to talk about. At this point, too, I'm like, damn, this girl's living 3 separate lives. She's lying to me, she's lying to her boyfriend, and she's lying to her new boyfriend. Like, she must be stressed out of her mind. So I'm sitting here thinking, damn, she might need someone to talk to. So I'm trying to give her the opportunity. Look, I know all this. I know that you're lying to my face. I know that you're cheating on multiple people. And I'm giving you an olive branch to just tell me the truth and, like, let's be friends still. I said, look, I value our friendship. You've been my ride or die for years. I'd hate to lose that. Just know that I love you, and I'm sorry if any of this is offensive or coming off judgy. Please know that isn't my intention. I never heard from her. She never emailed me back. So I waited probably 2 weeks, and then I texted her and said, hey, just checking in. I sent you an email. I don't know if you saw it. If you did see it and it upset you, I would love to talk about that. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to upset you. Never texted me back. Never emailed me back. Unfollowed me on socials. And that was in April of 2017.
One of the scariest things that ever happened to me while babysitting, story time. Now, I was 15. I've been babysitting for a few years at this point, so I had a lot of experience with kids. They love me. Well, a family friend asked if I would go babysit their 7-year-old son for a couple of days while they went out of town to Myrtle Beach, so I said, sure, that was great money for me. So the parents put their bags in the car. They showed me where everything is. Now, his mom made it clear to me that he has a very active imagination and that because his daddy let him watch horror movies the week prior, he's been having nightmares and making things up, saying that he's been seeing stuff around the house that's not there. So they get their stuff in the car, they give their son a kiss, and they leave. So I'm flipping through all the satellite channels, checking out different shows, eating popcorn, little boy's playing with his toys, drinking his little juicy juice, and we're just having a good time. So I go in the kitchen to put a frozen pizza in the oven, and all of a sudden, this little boy comes flying out the living room, running up to me, and then wraps around my leg, just looking in the living room and then looking at me, back and forth. I said, damn, son, are you okay? What happened? He said, she's in there, she's in there. I said, who's in there? He said, her, but I didn't see nothing. And before I can push him any further, he walks over and sits in front of the TV and starts ignoring me. We're sitting on the couch watching TV, and their couch was in the middle of the room, so you could walk around it. Well, this little boy starts looking behind the couch and then back at the TV. So I start looking back behind us. It's like a natural reaction when you see somebody else doing that, you start doing it. The more he did this, the more I felt like somebody was standing behind us, but I don't see anything. So I get up and walk across the room, and from there I can see the hallway. And for a second, something stood out to me. At the end of the hallway, it looked like someone was peeking around the corner like this. But when I cut the light on, it was gone. So I thought my mom was playing tricks on me. My anxiety's peaking, so I'm like, okay, it's the first time you've been left alone in someone else's house. Calm down, go take a shower and go to bed. But while I'm taking a shower, I get the weirdest feeling like somebody's standing outside of the shower curtain. Now, they had a big-ass bathroom. So I was like, dude, it's a new place. It's a big bathroom. You're not used to this. Just stop freaking out. But I have to keep sticking my head out the shower curtain to make sure nobody's there because I'm getting that vibe like somebody is there. So I peek out the shower again and bam, this kid is standing in the doorway crying. I said, what's wrong? He said, it's gonna get me. It's in there. I just saw it. Can I stay here with you? I'm scared. I said, yes, stay right there. Just turn the other way. And then I dry off and get dressed in the shower so he can't see me. Now it's about 11 o'clock at this point and he's still wide awake. So we sit there and talk for a little while. We play with Legos, Play-Doh. I'm just trying to wear him out so he'll go to sleep. Well, finally around 2 a.m., he falls asleep. Now, it was already so late, I didn't have time to unpack my clothes, so I just get in the bed and I go to sleep. About 10 minutes later, I hear this youngin' screaming again. Before I can even get out the bed, I hear him thunk, 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 and he's already running into my room, jumps into bed with me. He's screaming to the top of his lungs, she's there in my room, behind the door. She's gonna get me if I'm alone. Please don't make me go back in there. So we're laying there in the bed together, and he says, I know you think I'm making stuff up. I promise you I'm not. She was there. I saw her. I said, honey, I believe you. It's okay. Just relax and close your eyes and start taking some deep breaths. This child has one hell of a grip on me. Like, he's wrapped around me like a python, so I could tell he was really scared. Like, he really thought something was going to snatch his ass off that bed. So I just held him and hoped that maybe he would calm down. Now, I know a lot of you would just tell these kids to hush and go to bed, but I'm not like that. I went through the same thing as a child. I would see things that were not there, and nobody else believed me. So I wanted him to know that I believed him and I was protecting him. So I reach over to the nightstand and I tapped that old school touch lamp 3 times and put it on the brightest setting so it lit up the room. That way we would feel more safer and we could get some sleep. Then I start hearing some distant thunder and then it starts pouring rain. I think, oh, well, that sounds relaxing. So because of that storm, my ass knocked out. I was doing some good sleeping until about 30-40 minutes later. That was when I abruptly woke up to the bed shaking. It felt like a small tremor, like a little earthquake. So I'm trying to get my eyes adjusted and wake up and figure out why is the bed shaking. Apparently the storm knocked the power out because it was pitch black dark in that room and the only time I could see anything was when the lightning struck. Well, once my head gets adjusted, I start hearing a noise like chattering of teeth. I'm laying there trying to figure out what the hell is that noise and what is shaking the bed. And that's when I look over and I see the little boy is sitting up on the other side of the bed with his hands holding the cover. And it's him shaking the bed. He's shaking that hard. And that chattering sound I heard was coming from his teeth. He was sitting here holding the covers with his eyes wide open and going, are you okay? Because I thought he was having a seizure. But when I looked at him, his eyes darted over to mine and I realized he was awake. He was so scared. Like, he couldn't move. He was frozen, shaking and chattering. I'm like, well, if he's not having a seizure, what is wrong with him? And that's when it clicks. He's sitting here staring at the door, so I look at the door. Y'all, let me tell you, in that moment, when that lightning flashed, I damn near shit my pants. It scared me so bad. Have you ever been so scared that your hands and arms and legs start tingling, they damn near go numb? When I looked at that bedroom door, there was someone's head peeking around the door like this. And you could only see their eyes. And when the lightning stopped flashing, I couldn't see anything anymore. It was complete darkness. That was when it really hit me. Holy crap, we're not alone. There's someone else in the house and they're standing right there. But what really freaked me out was every time the lightning would strike, I could see more of that person's face. Like it started like this, and then this, and this, and then I could see their actual mouth. This person was smiling ear to ear. I could barely take a breath in. All I could think was, what the hell is that thing? Then of course the lightning stopped flashing, so for a few seconds it was completely dark, and I had that feeling again like someone was watching us and getting closer and closer, and I was starting to panic. And when lightning struck a few seconds later, I could tell they were getting closer because now this motherfucker, person, thing, or whatever, was now at the foot of the bed, peeking over like this, staring at us. At this point, my damn teeth were chattering. All I could hear was between the both of us. So I pulled that little boy up on my lap in my arms as tight as I could because I didn't want whatever it was to try to snatch him out of my arms, and I held him real tight. So now when the lightning flashed, we could see its whole face peeking over the bed, smiling, looking right at us. So that was when fight or flight kicked in for me, and I remember the dad telling me that he'd put a loaded pistol in the nightstand and behind the headboard of this bed, so I start reaching around for it. And for some reason, my gut was telling me, you better keep your eyes on this thing. Every time the lightning strikes, pinpoint where it is with your eyes and don't take your eyes off or it's going to jump. Reaching, trying to multitask, keep my eyes on it, hold the little boy, and feel around for this pew-pew, and I finally feel it, and I snatch it out of that holster and I hold it up. When the lightning struck, I pointed at this thing. I said, if you take another step, I'm going to blow you into the next room. Get out and leave now. In that moment, something happened. I don't know what it was, but I could feel me looking into it and it looking into me, and that lightning flashed, and then all of a sudden the power cut back on. And no lie, as soon as the power came on, it was gone. I snatched him up out of the bed, grabbed that pew-pew, and ran to the kitchen and called 911. I stayed on the phone with them, the police came, and then I called the parents. I put the cop on the phone, they're talking, and then they tell the cop that they're not coming back until Sunday. Even though we're telling them we think there's an intruder in the house and their child's here, they don't give a shit. They're not coming home. They think it's our imagination playing tricks on us because the power went out and we're getting freaked out with the storm and everything. So I made it very clear I was not staying in their house another minute, and I was going to take their child back to my family's house, and that's where we would be. And they said, okay, fine, we'll see you on Sunday. So I asked the little boy if that was the first time he saw this thing, and he said no. He'd been seeing it for months, but this was the first time it got that close. Now I knew he'd have to go back to that house, so the next day me and my cousin went over and cleansed the entire house, hoping it would help.